message as it relates. One more time, Chris. I'm sorry, I didn't catch the last part.
Yeah, just kind of your thoughts on home games and maybe what you tell your team, the importance of winning at home, and in particular with conference.
Sure, no, without a doubt, it's always the most important thing, right? Principles of Miami football were always based on having the best home field advantage and having the longest home winning streak in college football history. Something that I was fortunate enough to carry on to other places and other stops I've been at. So, of course, that's always going to be paramount to our program and the way we prepare and perform.
Go to Susan Miller-Degnan from the Miami Herald. Susan.
Hey, Mario. You touched on this a bit the other day. Daryl Jackson, your thoughts on his play and contribution to the team. Obviously, he's a big man. How is his stamina, his physical fitness level during games? And the last part would be, what's he like to coach, his personality? Is he quiet? Is he an outspoken leader type?
Daryl's an exceptional human being, exceptional football player. He's a lean 328 pounds. His best football's ahead of him. He is an absolute pleasure to be around all the time because he loves to practice. He loves to work. He's got a great personality about him. No task is too small for him. And there's no ego there. You could push him, and he responds well, and he's about earning. He's about earning playing time, and he's about working for it. And he's exactly what you want in your program. You want a whole bunch of guys like Daryl Jackson.
Go to Luke Cheney from All Hurricanes. Luke.
Hey, Coach. So, Rashard Smith has really come on strong the past couple weeks in ACC play. Where have you seen the most growth from him?
Well, just an ownership of doing what you're supposed to do all the time. It's a very different regiment from an accountability standpoint that really holds guys to a high standard as it relates to class, as it relates to on the field, off the field stuff. And that's a lot, right? And you have to be able to manage those things. Time management is important. So Rashard, the most he's just taken ownership. He has matured. He has grown up. He's attacked preparation. He's really become a really good practice player. He's spending extra time watching some film, and he's handling his business in the classroom and off the field. So everybody's really proud of him. He's got an unbelievable future ahead of him. So we're very fortunate to have a guy like that on the football team.
Go to Adam Lichtenstein from the Sun Sentinel. Adam.
Hey, Mario. My first question is, obviously looking at Riley Leonard, very mobile guy. Their offensive line's done very well. I mean, you're an offensive line, former offensive lineman. What does the offensive line do so well to protect Leonard and allow him to make plays?
They're an experienced group that communicates really well. They have really good disciplined eyes. When you watch them, they communicate their points, their line calls. They don't bust. They understand hat position in the run game. They understand numbers and leverage. They understand the intent of the play. Like you watch them when they're blocking inside zone, the tight fits and the movement, the flat backs, their double teams are impressive. When they're pinning and pulling, you watch that hat placement on the V of the neck. You watch those guys get and run and sprint to play side numbers and armpits and maintain leverage and gain leverage with what they do. And then the other part is they're coached really well. They finish their blocks. They play with a really good disposition. They're an impressive group to watch.
And then real quick, do you have any injury updates on Henry Parrish, Will Mallory, Wayman Steed, Mike Redding, Tyreek, and Jacoby?
I think we will by tomorrow. Things are really looking better with a lot of those guys that you mentioned, but wouldn't be able to say fairly where they're going to be for the game at this moment.
Got time for a few more for Coach Cristobal. Again, please be sure to get your hand up if you have a question. We'll go to David Wilson from the Miami Herald. David?
Hey, Mario. Just quickly, one more on that. Ja'Kai, I think, was warmed up and dressed on Saturday. But is that a situation where he was available kind of an emergency? Obviously, I know he got dinged up the week before.
He was going to be available for a very limited amount of plays in an emergency. He's looked really good this week.
Gotcha. And then special teams obviously is kind of become a pretty nice strength here. Obviously, Lou was fantastic on Saturday. Keyshawn has been really good as a return man. It's obviously kind of an interesting situation where you don't have a special teams coach on game day. I'm just kind of curious what do you think has made that such a strength for you guys? The way that whether you guys coach it, obviously have good personnel there. Just what has kind of made that such a strength for you guys this year?
We have really good analysts in Marwan Malouf and Danny Coulter, and then we do it together as a staff. so that we run it and call it during practice. They do all the analytical work behind the scenes and help to game plan it. And then we all sit together, but those are two very, very intelligent guys that are completely invested, that invest their entire time into it. And then we spend a significant amount of time meeting on it, coaching the details of it, repping the technique and fundamentals of it. And we've had some really good moments, and there's a lot of room for improvement in a lot of different aspects, but certainly trending in the right direction. And we certainly want to keep getting better there.
We got time for two more questions for Coach. We'll go to Azubi Charles and then Marcus Benjamin. Azubi, go ahead for Coach Cristobal.
Hey, Coach, kind of going off what David said, just how important has Lou Hedley been for that special teams unit and just flipping the field for you guys this season in the field position battle?
He creates a lot of hidden yardage in your favor. He really does. And not to mention, he does a lot of different things. I mean, he can rugby, he can kick it, he can roll right, kick it left, he can roll right and pin it. He can, it's like a pitching wedge when you're, in the plus territory or somewhere near the 50s. So he does a lot of different things that not only creates good field position, but also prevents blocks, because he understands the schemes really well. He understands block points. He understands number counts. And another guy was an exceptional human being. Like to have a ton of Lou Hedleys, if you can, at different positions. He is a really dedicated, committed, invested guy, and his hard work has paid off big time.
All right, last question for Coach Cristobal comes from Marcus Benjamin of Kings County. Marcus?
Coach, Tyler Van Dyke has seemed to gain a little bit more confidence in running the football. How important is it that he continues to gain confidence in that area, and how can that really open up the offense?
Oh, in a big time way. I think sometimes he's a little bit underestimated in his ability to run the football, and not only design quarterback runs, but just pocket presence, extending plays, and making plays when things are bottled up or when guys are covered up pretty good. So, yeah, it is important. And Tyler takes a ton of pride in doing what he does and how he maintains his levels of fitness, agility, and speed or whatnot. And certainly, his legs proved that last game.
Got one late hand, Coach. We'll go to Tim Reynolds from the Associated Press for the last question. Tim.
Thanks, Alex. Good afternoon, Mario.
Good afternoon.
I wanted to ask you one off topic, if you'll indulge me. The Dolphins are honoring the 72 team this weekend, the 50th anniversary of that perfect team. I wanted to ask you, growing up in Miami and falling in love with football the way you did, what was the impact that Don Shula has had on you as a player, now as a coach as well? Can you just kind of speak to how many years after he last coached, he still has he just overshadows football in this city?
Yeah, he's the best of the best. Remember back then you only talked about three coaches, right? Don Shula, Chuck Noll, and Tom Landry. Those were the dudes. And, something about that 72 team that always stuck out to me, I forget where it was quoted. I hope it's accurate. And, I'm going to say that. I think that year the number of mental mistakes they had overall as a team was in like the low teens or something like that. Just an unbelievably synchronized operation from top to bottom, starting with the head guy. And you're talking about not only a master as a teacher, but just an organizational, incredible CEO that did it at the highest level for such a long, long time and impacted everybody. He impacted coaching, globally, not only here in South Florida, Miami or whatnot in the community, but everywhere. And that's that name, right? When you say that name, and I know his family really, really well, it's powerful because of work done and time invested. And we're all very grateful and thankful for his contributions and his guidance and his mentorship and leadership.
Thank you, Mario.
All right, Coach. Thank you very much for your time today.
Hey, guys. Have a blessed day.